my girls, they love and hate me the same. Okay, so when I die, I ain't gonna be from old age. Somebody gonna want revenge, somebody might want it now. Right pocket got euros, left pocket got pound. Somebody gonna want
Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what should be an intriguing matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
On a chilly December afternoon, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to Paul Brown Stadium in the holiday season is upon us. We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Here come the Bengals now to take over. And leading them out there, their 6'5 quarterback.
And this could be a whole lot of fun because if his game plan goes into effect early, we're going to see some shots downfield, aren't we? What did he talk to us about? Stretching the field. Wants to open things up for not just his receivers, but for anything underneath.
Well, that was the theme, the front page of the sports section. What did the columnists write? Possible air raid. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches view that, right? Who gave away the game plan? I think it's pretty obvious, though. That'll help them win.
The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. He'll wind up getting a yard on the game's first play at second down. And a look now at the Cincinnati offense.
Out of the backfield is Joe Mixon, and he was a valuable commodity coming out of the University of Oklahoma because of his ability to be so versatile. Can run it inside with power, gets to the perimeter and can outrun people, catches the ball not only out of the backfield, but you can split him out just like he would be a receiver. And I think if he wanted to dedicate himself, he'd be an all-pro kick returner.
He'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6. Third play in this opening drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 3. From the gun, Sloan. They got him in. It's Woods. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, tight, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. Well, look now at the starters on the defensive side for the Browns. They were very solid last week in the victory over Baltimore.
And what I saw on film was nearly an unstoppable pass rush. They had 5 sacks last week, plenty of hurries. So now you just max protect on offense, keep everyone in and run, 1 or 2 receiver routes to make sure your quarterback stays up. We'll soon find out.
10-2 stop. Get it.
Off play action. Sloan. And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line.
We better not.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. And this one goes angling out of bounds, and it will be spotted inside the 30-yard line. So here come the Browns for their first drive on offense. And a glance here at their quarterback standing 6'3".
And I liked what his head coach told us about him this week, that no matter what happens, whether he throws 7 interceptions or 7 touchdown passes, he's the same assertive leader in the huddle on each and every play. He can throw the 7 interceptions, just blame the football, blame anything else, and still carry himself like he is the man.
It's like you, assertive in our production meetings.
Well, especially when we're talking about ordering dinner, ordering some snacks.
I was just going to say.
That's where I go.
Just what the Browns needed there. Good for a gain of 17. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead them to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity, and that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week, and right now we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And a Across midfield he goes and into Bengal territory. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 11 carries, 117 yards.
They've got a nice scheme going right now, and they run the football pretty well. In fact, I was talking with him on the field before the game, and he said he's starting to hear from the guys ahead of him on the rushing yardage total, and they want to know if he's going to jump up there and join them at the top of the list.
9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. He'll drop to throw. Throwing left side here, and it's complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that'll open things up for you on the outside as well.
That's where he, their big tight end, is so good. That middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well. And he's got it.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. 2nd and 9 now. Going down the middle, and it's complete. Coming into the week, he's the NFL's leader in receiving yards. There's his first catch, and it's good for a first down. Solid catch there for a man who's been so brilliant this year. Worth pointing out, as we were talking about earlier, there has never in the 60-year history of the award been a pass catcher, tight end, or wide receiver that has taken home the MVP trophy.
And the best receivers I've talked with, they know that stat, and it drives it.
And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. As his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Now the Cincinnati offense ready to see what they can do here. And hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs. And that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
From all the way up at the 38 now after a good start to the drive. Operating from the gun. Sloan. And he's got the hook up here. It's Woods. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. Give him 17 and a Cincinnati first down. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Now Joe Mixon. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. A loss of 2 there. 2nd down. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say, we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game. And that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage. Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
To throw on 3rd down. Sloan. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Here's J.K. Scott now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time.
The Browns drive about to get started. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. And look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
Set 50, plant.
After 1-7-0 on EA Sports.
Ready. And Lobo. Rip left. Clear.
Right back to him on first down. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
They'll try the left side. Pitts. And across midfield he goes and into Bengal territory.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Remember, that was less than a yard. That was not a full yard. That defense, they were having none of it.
Yeah, the surge the offensive line was seeking actually occurred on the other side of the ball. They reestablished the line of scrimmage and stuffed them.
Could not have thrown that out there any better. When the ball hit the ground, I thought it might go into the end zone the way it was angling, but perfectly jutting out at the 1.
You think maybe what we saw in practice came into play there? You know, he put those big cans down on the sideline and angled for them and shot for them. Looks like it worked out pretty well for him, too.
On the double. 57 to Mike. Rapid. Snap.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he's going to be taken down shy of the 5-yard line. A gain of 3, second down.
And give him a lot of credit there, but even more credit to the guys up front. In that situation, you know it's going to be a stacked defensive front. And to be able to gain that much yardage, that's a big win for the guys on offense.
Yeah, they were just about standing on their own goal line, so to get a few yards there, a great start. Now we'll see what second down brings. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. The Bengals on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. They'll try and run with their fullback. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down.
All right, let's put the check mark on the defensive side of the ledger there. Really nice tackle by the man in the middle. But why was he able to get that done? Because he has 4 down linemen in front of him, 2 tackles, 2 ends. And what they often try to do is create what we call a funnel. Right to the man in the middle linebacker, who often leads his team in tackles.
A terrific return there, 27 yards all told. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A good pickup there of 20 yards. Yeah, he's top 5 in the league in terms of receiving yardage because of plays like that. What have you seen from him on film that you like so much?
Well, I'll strip away everything else and get to what we call the moment of truth. When the ball's arriving and there's a defender there, he just comes down with the ball. He competes and takes it away. Great hands, great ability to finish the catch.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. 2nd and 3. And this is caught. Touchdown, Cleveland. A 12-yard touchdown grab. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Bengal offense on their way out as we look at the playoff race in the AFC. And for them right now, not a done deal. So they are holding down one of the final wild card spots. And with 2 weeks to go, there are others kind of nipping at their heels a bit.
And imagine what the talk has been all week within their locker room. And it's really, let's rely on ourselves because they could get help and still get to the playoffs. But who wants that? Go out, win the game, take care of things yourself, and then you don't have anything else to worry about. When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you're doing like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
That one good for 20 on the catch and run.
Thus far, it hasn't been a real fun half for them, but a play like that may get them off the schneid a little bit, get them loosened up and moving.
Kind of seems like they've been sleepwalking and still sitting on 0 points.
It's not always making an adjustment. Sometimes it's just going back to what you know can work and finally getting it done.
That sends them 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to second down. 2 minutes to play first half. It's 14-0. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. There's a ball thrown right side and complete. And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 27-yard line.
They should have put the coverage guys in a stress on that one. They thought they were going deep. Ends up curling inside for a nice chunk of yardage.
Back to throw. Slowly getting this into the hands of Turner. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And they'll find his target, Woods. It's complete. The Bengals going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. From the 3 now, here they come on 3rd and goal.
Get in the weight room. Ready.
Mixon trying to punch it in, and he's going to be taken down here still a couple yards short of the first. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play, stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
Now the Bengals will settle for 3 as the field goal unit comes on here. From the right hash at a bit of a tight angle. And this one is right through. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Browns drive about to get started. Time for a final kneel down or a safe run, and then they can head to the locker room with a lead.
Yeah, or they can even run a screen. You know, something they feel is somewhat safe that might actually pop and turn into a big play. That's what you usually run in this situation.
Or go 4 verticals because why not?
Because you're feeling it, right? You're just feeling it.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Not wanting to take a chance this time. They'll keep it on the ground. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. You want the third quarter already? No problem. Let's do it. The Browns are going to get the second half kickoff, and they've got this lead as well as we are back and underway. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Here's the Browns offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Thought they were going to have him down a lot earlier, but he was able to shed that tackle.
Shows the value of the weight room, doesn't it? Shows the value of the attitude when you run the football. Don't go down easily. Break a few tackles, gain some additional yardage.
Now left side, a completion to his tight end. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
In need of a conversion on third down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. And he'll only get this to about the 35. Well short of the line to gain. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a fourth down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading the play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
And his kick is good. And they will stretch the lead now to 17-3. So put another 3 on the board. All things considered, a good opening drive to begin the third quarter.
And as a defense, the way that this game is going, you're excited to see those points go on the board. Gives them a little bit of leeway to play with when they're out on the field, but they're real excited to see their offense score. Now they get to go out there and do their part.
So here are the Bengals now as they get their first possession of this second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here at half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start. An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he would end up going to a secondary.
Hit from behind, and he's going to be driven down.
You see me? You see me? They can't stop me out here.
And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance and keep him away from your guy trying to throw the football.
We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances.
He's got the lane, and there he goes. And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland. A big play there. 77 yards. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage. It's been quite the game for him individually. A trio of touchdown catches now.
So pick a route, any route. Whatever you want him to run, he's going to do it and do it well and end up in the end zone. This has really been fun to watch.
Extra point up and through. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And as this offense makes their way back out, it's AFC playoff race time as we give you a look. And with the final fortnight of games upon us, teams jockeying for position. Some of these games really starting to take enormous importance as they always do this time of year.
I like how you use fortnight.
Well, you're impressed, don't you?
I am impressed. That means 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That does.
But how about exactly what you're talking about? Going down the stretch, how much importance is placed on these games. Look, everyone talks about every game's important. When you get to this time of year, maybe that importance gets quadruple. And that's where we are right now to see who can make their last run, their last push to get into the playoffs.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. And some room to maneuver. 30. And way down into the red zone before he's dropped inside of Cleveland's 15. A big play there for Cincinnati. 55 yards. And a guy that can change the game, shows you a glimpse of it right there, taking the ball down inside the red zone.
It just tells you how tough it is for a defense. You just hold on all game and essentially hold your breath. Will they break a big one on us at any point during the game? It just happened right there.
Give them maybe a yard, quite the opposite from the previous big gainer. They'll try the left side. Burrows looking to find a lane, but he can't. Reined in at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so that doesn't help. Now they're looking up at a 3rd and 9 situation.
Here I come again. Here I come again.
On third down, Sloan. And this is caught. A spectacular one-handed grab there. The completion there winds up a wash, and it'll bring up 4th down.
What a catch, and one-handed, and I'm starting to lose my awe about the play, and maybe I shouldn't. How much of this is the player? How much of it is the glove?
Well, those gloves, they do have a little grip to them,
They
don't
get a
they?
little extra tackiness to them now, and I know the guys in the NFL, the competition committee, some other places, they're talking about examining those gloves to see if they're having too much of an effect on the game.
This is taken at his 4. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Browns offense trotting back onto the field. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
It's been a remarkable day at the office for him running the football. Those yards just continue to pile well past 100.
And how about more than double-digit carries in the second half alone? That's what you want as a runner, because you've got to prove to your offensive line that you're going to be as tough as they are. They don't rotate in and out on every play. Running backs often do, so those who can stay out there with their offensive linemen, those are the guys they really value.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves them with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Now this throw caught left side. It's a big play there for the Browns. And even 40 yards.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great. And what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big gain. And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. From 10 yards out. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage. He was on point throwing the ball right there. He had the big play to get him down close, and then he delivers a touchdown pass on 1st and goal.
And you mentioned the big play that got him down close. I think that big play left him reeling a little bit. They didn't recover from it. And they always talk about having to have a short memory on defense after a big play against you. Looks like their memory was a little too long there.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point. Back now in Cincinnati. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. This quarterback now just one misfire so far after that last completion, 15 of 16. It's first down. They run on first down as they're able to get this forward for about 4. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. 2nd and 6. And Woods has it complete. And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 40. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now, right at the 40. Looking to throw. Sloan. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Throwing again. Sloan. He gets this one to Boyd. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. You tackle them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. Continues to be a struggle for this offense and this home crowd. They're growing a little restless here in the second half.
And I think they've just got to look at how they're trying to move the football. Yeah, you want to run it, but maybe you spread it out, maybe some swing passes.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Bengals try it, but it doesn't work out. And this Browns defense stands tall.
Everyone gears up for 3rd down, talks about the importance of it. But 4th down, that's truly the moment of truth play, isn't it?
Everything's dialed up a little bit more. And, you know, it's such a momentum play, isn't it?
Absolutely, because it can flip either way depending on who converts on 4th down.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4.
You remember me? Let's go, baby. Go.
They'll keep it on the ground. Pitts. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the 4th quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're trying to get to the quarterback, trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
And looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
Denzel Ward, the number 4 pick in the 2018 draft, making the tackle from his corner spot.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Now Grimes. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 13 yards to pick up there. Good for a Cleveland first. Another example of this offense really having their way, Charles, and another big chunk play there on the ground.
And when you look at the defense, they've got to do a much better job of wrapping up when they tackle. A lot of great opportunities continue to slip through their fingers, as do the runners.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. They run the counter. Pitts. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they got it going today.
Able to get what they need to keep the drive going with a 6-yard pickup on 3rd down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. The previous run, good for 9. Here's 2nd and a yard. For the carry, it's Grimes. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. So another score there. Often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
So they are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. And as this offense makes their way back out, NFC playoff race time. We give you a look at what's going on there. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Use that as ammo going
forward. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
They face a 3rd and 4 after that last completion gets them 6. From the gun, Sloan, and he can't quite pick it. No interception so far. That probably should have been their first, but at least it's 4th down. I think this is what this game's become now. Just go deep, see if we can get something to go our way.
Yeah, not the most creative or most inventive play call there, but not much has worked for them throughout this game. They're almost at a loss about what to dial up.
And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. This is fielded at the 7. Call that one an even 60 yards, 6-0. And the offense will come back out deep in their own territory. The Browns drive about to get started. They have the dream scenario you hope for coming into the game. Just one kneel here, and this game should be over.
And it's always the final play of preparation each week. The practicing of the kneel-down formation, the victory formation. We've got a game in hand, and that's all they're going to want to do now. They'll put someone back deep just in case something goes haywire. But all in all, take the snap, kneel down, and shake hands. Yes. Get out of there.
So Cleveland able to come away with the victory here, and they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half to put this one on ice.
And I know a lot of people watching this one were thinking to themselves, I bet halftime was really interesting. Probably took the paint off the walls with some of the words that were said. But I get the sense that it was much more of the adjustments they made. They came in with a game plan that we saw that didn't work in the first half. They made the adjustments necessary, went away from that, and then they got it together, got a spark, and then took off. It's really nice to watch in the second half.
So for Cleveland, it's another win for them, and you wonder if they want a redo on that one loss as they sit now at 14-1. And they'll get another road date next week. Meanwhile,
not a day in my life. You know me, my dogs, stay by my side. Yeah, we gon' ride till we die. This ain't nothing for the pack. Got 16 sitting in the lag. Whole squad all dressing all black. Every single last one of them got my back. Hey, 20 of us, that's 20 coons. Ice cream whip, triple scoop. I got 3 strikes, ain't got to lose. When it's all on the line, what you gonna do? Come on, I'm highly favored. Don't wanna play me. No conversation, ain't got time for no debating. It's for the taking, no hesitation. Don't try my patience. I'ma pour out one for the set, boy, till there's nothing left. On a run to the bread until we all got them baguettes. Hear them footsteps coming, cause we coming for the check.